Hello everyone. We're gonna do a rainbow today. Isn't this fun? I don't know if any of you guys are in California, but it's getting to be starting to warm up here. Now I know that a lot of you guys still have snow in the ground, but guess what? Spring is going to happen really soon. And the thing that reminds me most of spring are rainbows, because it rains and then the flowers start to bloom. So I have a couple of rainbows here, and I bet you guys are pretty good at painting rainbows. Give me a thumbs up if you love painting rainbows. Yeah, I do too. In fact, I kind of did a lot of rainbows, like more than I really should have. I just kept on doing them over and over and over again because it was just so much fun. So boys and girls, I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you what you're going to need. So as I show you all of the stuff, then you can kind of collect them around your workspace. So let me just share my screen. So these are done on two different types of paper. This one's really stiff, and this is watercolor paper. So if you have watercolor paper, that's great. It's a little heavier. But if you don't have watercolor paper like this one, that's okay too. You can do it on any type of paper you want. And I'm gonna do it on this type of paper. So that's that white paper. Now, I have a bunch of different drawing tools here. I have, and you may have used these before. These are the Crayola fluorescent oil pastels, like they're neon. They're so bright and fun, but these are regular oil pastels. And you can tell that they're oil pastels because they're super like creamy and they go on really dark. So you can see like they're nice and creamy, and you can even smudge them. We won't be smudging them, but that's what oil pastels look like. And then these are some crayons, and you might have some Crayola crayons. I tend to use these a lot. These are my beeswax crayons, and these don't smudge as much. So you can use crayons, you can use oil pastels or these neons, whatever you want to draw your rainbow with. So I'm gonna put that over here. So many fun colors already, huh? Then I have my watercolor paints, and you can have any kind of watercolor paints that you want. You might have a tray that looks a little different than mine. And as long as it looks something like this, I think you're gonna be good. I have a big paintbrush and some water. And then for the final thing that we're gonna be doing today, I have a bunch of little papers. Now your papers may not look like this, like they may not be all cut up. They might look like this. Maybe you have scraps of construction paper. Maybe you have some paper that you painted yourself. Maybe you have some art projects that you painted, but then you tore up and you didn't like them. Those are the best kind of papers that you can use. So I have a bunch of papers. Okay. So now kiddos, that's what we're gonna be doing. We're gonna be using our crayons. We're gonna draw all of the different arches for our rainbow. And who knows what the rainbow order is? The 7 colors of the rainbow.
There is red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and then purple.
So good. Nicely done. It took me a long time to memorize that rainbow order. Yeah, some people call this violet as well. So you can call it violet or purple. Okay, kiddos, so the first thing we're gonna do is get out our red oil pastel or crayon. So go ahead and get out your red, and I have my crayon. I'm gonna use a crayon, and I'm gonna share my screen so you can follow along with me. Okay, so kiddos, I'm just gonna put my rainbow over there, and I'm gonna get a new piece of paper, and I'm gonna stick that underneath. And I have a really big sheet of paper here. Let me see if I can show you how big it is. It goes from this side of the paper all the way over to that side. Now, I have a hard time sometimes finding the middle of my paper, so the easiest way for me to do this is, let me just do that, is to take my paper and fold it in half. But look at this, I just wanna like press it down just a little bit. I don't wanna make a big crease. I just wanna make a little tiny crease just so I know where the center of my paper is. Because this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna take our 3 fingers and put them on that crease. Here's the crease line right here. And what I want you to do is take your red crayon, and I want you to draw an upside down letter U around your fingers. And that is our first arch of our rainbow. So go ahead and do that. And if you don't want to find that, you don't want to fold your paper, you don't have to. Like, that's totally fine. See how I'm holding my fingers there? And I'm just drawing around. Okay, give me a thumbs up if you have that done. I'm pretty sure you do. Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, so now, what was that color that Addie told us that came next? I think it was orange. So I want you to grab your orange, and this time take away your finger. And this time, here's the fun part. Your rainbow doesn't have to look like mine. It could have wobbly lines. It could have lines that are really close together. It could have lines that are far apart. It's completely up to you. But I'm going to take my orange crayon and I'm going to start maybe 3 fingers. And I'm going to go up, 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 and I'm going to go around my red arch and come down the other side. And if they're not even, awesome. Does not have to be even. So go ahead and do your orange. And then I'm going to get my yellow ready because it's red and then orange, and then I'm going to do a yellow one next. Are you guys ready for yellow? Hold up your yellow. Yes. Nicely done. Okay, so very same thing. And you can even start on this side. You can say, I wonder how far I want my yellow to be from my orange. Well, I want it to be close. So I'm going to go up, 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 and maybe a little bit up higher and then coming down. So it's like a different shape, isn't it? You can do whatever shape you want. You might want to have it a little bit wiggly. You might want to have it narrower. So it's kind of up to you. Okay, what color comes next? I think I'm going to do, I have 2 greens. You guys might have a bunch of different greens too. So I have a light green and a dark green. I think I'm going to choose the light green. But I'm going to keep that dark green handy. And I want to do it again. And this time I'm not even going to measure. I'm just going to say, okay, green crayon, tell me what to do. I'm going to go up and down. Okay, my green's done. Now I have the blue, and I'm going to use a light blue color, but you can use a dark blue if you want to. I like how you're all looking for your crayon colors or your oil pastel. I'm going to make my blue a little bit bigger, so I'm going to go maybe a couple of fingers, 3. And I'm going to go up, up, up. Ooh, I'm going to go a little higher, and then down, down, down. There we go. How y'all doing? Oh, nicely done. Oh, you guys are doing good. Okay, so now it's indigo. So indigo is like I don't know, it's kind of like a bluish purple. So I have a blue and I also have a purple. I'm gonna use this dark blue first, and then I'm gonna use my crayon, my purple crayon. But if I had oil pastels like this, I might choose, oh, I don't know. I could choose the pink for the purple. You don't have to choose it exactly indigo and purple, but I'm gonna do my blue. And I'm going to go up, 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 and down. And then finally, my last color is purple, and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Ooh, that is a big rainbow. Okay, I'm all done, but I'm not done of drawing yet. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different shapes that I'm going to paint in. But before I do that, kids, I want to take whatever type of art tool that I have. It could be the crayons, it could be the gel or the neon oil pastels, it could be the oil pastels, and I want to make some patterns. So boys and girls, I want you to start. Actually, it doesn't matter where you start, but I'm going to start down here between the red and the orange, and I think I'll take this kind of like orange color right here, and I'm going to make some lines. Now, you don't have to do lines. I'm going to show you all sorts of different things, different patterns. We're going to fill up our entire rainbow with different patterns. And you could do something like this. You could also do, so you could do lines. You could do circles. You could do hearts. You could do X's. You could do like a chevron pattern. You could do loop-de-loops. You could do lines and dashes. I think I'm just going to keep that handy because what I'd like to do next is move into my yellow zone, and I think I'm going to take a red, or you can take a yellow too. I always like to use as many colors as possible. I think I'm going to make these they look like little fishes, these little loops. So I start and I go a little turn there, but you can do anything you want. You could do polka dots. Now I want to take my yellow, and I think I'll make some little bumps in here too. Okay, so now I did my yellow and some red fish in my yellow zone, which is kind of a weird thing to do, but that's what I felt like doing. And now I'm going to do some green, and I think what I like to do, I want to do some shapes. It's a line, but it has a bend in it, and it's called like a chevron shape. Oh, my oil pastels always break. Do you guys have that problem too? But you know what? If your oil pastels break, keep going, because broken oil pastels work just as well as brand new oil pastels. So my patterns are a little bit wonky, and I like wonky. I'm gonna put this little tiny piece back. Here, back in that case. Now I have this blue section, so I'm going to take, I like this light blue. This looks really pretty. I think I'm going to do a big flower. This is going to take a little bit more time. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do 2 different types of flowers. See, as you start to draw, there's just so many fun things that you can do. Oh, I think I'll do this crayon. So, no, I'm going to do a yellow. Oh my goodness. I have such a hard time making up my mind sometime. Okay, I'm gonna do the blue. Okay, so I did a bunch of flowers here. Now I have my blue section. And I'm gonna take a different oil pastel. I'm using lots of different tools here. And I'm gonna make some polka dots. Ooh, I really like this color. These are really dark oil pastels. Oil pastels are a little darker than crayons, in case you haven't figured that out. They just have more wax in them. They're softer. Yeah, isn't that pretty? Now, I have not used pink yet, and pink's one of my favorite colors, and so I must use pink now, but you don't have to. You can use whatever kind of purple, indigo, blue, and let me think. I think these big X marks would be really cool. I like drawing X's. And look how they make a pattern. Just going from one side to the next. Ooh, I'm getting kind of confused. If you look at a pattern long enough, your eyes kind of go funny. It's like right now, I'm not sure where to start my X. Maybe I'll start at the bottom. That was a little confusing. That's kind of fun though. Okay, look, I made a bunch of lines there with my pink, but I think I'll add a little bit of purple in. Oh, do you know what I want to do, guys? I forgot. If you have any white oil pastels or white crayons, I would love for you to take your white crayon or your white oil pastel. I'm just going to peel away some of the paper. And artists, I'm going to make some white sections. So I'm going around my blue polka dots. So go ahead and add any kind of white section that you want. I have an idea for another area where I'm going to color in white. Now I know you guys can't see this yet, and that's because it's white oil pastel on white paper. Really hard to see that. I'm going to color in my flower centers white because I want them to stay white when I paint. I really like white. You could also, here's something that you could do if you want to. You can go over some of your lines and kind of smudge them a bit. And then oops, I broke it again. And that kind of gives a really cool look. So I'm just going around. You don't have to do that. Okay, boys and girls, you guys are doing awesome. I love your attitude. You're just creating art. So now I'm done with my oil pastels. So go ahead and put your crayons away, put your oil pastels away, just put them off to the side. And I want you to get out your paints and, oh gosh, and your water. So now what I have a big fat brush, and it really holds a lot of paint. And I'm gonna take my colors, and now I love your questions, and I want you to use your artist choice. You're all artists and you can all make choices about your art. This is yours, but you could start with red if you want to. Actually, that's more pink, isn't it? I think I'm gonna mix my pink and my orange together, and I wanna paint over my first arch. And what you'll notice, if you have watercolor paints, is that you're going to be able to see your beautiful lines, if you created them, popping through. So I'm going to clean my brush a little bit, and I'm just going to move on. I'm going to do yellow next. Actually, maybe I'll do orange. So red and then orange. Ooh, look at that orange, it's so bright. Hey, that's fun. I can see the yellow lines that came popping through. I'm gonna clean my brush a little bit more. And now I'm gonna go to my yellow. And you might have a question of, do I have to do rainbow order? No, I am, just because I feel like it's kind of fun. But you don't have to at all. You can do whatever color you want. You can color it all orange if you wanted to. The most important thing is for you to have fun creating art and to make good choices that you like. And hey, guess what? If you don't like your choices, you can always do it again later. It's not the only rainbow that you'll create. Okay, so now I did the red, I did the orange and the yellow, and then I have green next. So I'm gonna use this light green. I think that'll be pretty. Okay, not as pretty as I want it. So I'm gonna move to this turquoise. So you can change your mind. Ooh, that looks kind of cool. Do you know what I think I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do a little bit of light green and a little bit of dark green in the same arch. So a rainbow in my rainbow. These are the kind of paints I have to go around and around just a little bit. You might have really sticky paints, and if they're really, really sticky, just kind of tap, tap, tap. But if they're really dry, then you might want to just circle your paintbrush a few times. It just depends on the type of paint you're using. And let me just push this over so you can see my paints. And the darker green really makes the blue show up, doesn't it? Okay, so I'm cleaning my brush again, put my paint on that side. And now I'm gonna do some blue. This looks like a pretty blue. You know, because I have blue circles, I think I might want to switch to purple so that the blue shows up a little bit more. So even though I experimented, I did change. Oh yeah, look at that. That's fun. Ooh, I think I could do this all night long. What about you guys? Isn't that fun just to paint, create art, do rainbows? I hope you're having a good day. It's not too cold or rainy. There. Okay, that's my favorite color so far, that purple. Do you guys have a favorite color so far? Okay, guys. Now my last color that I'm going to choose is my pink. And I'm going to take my brush and just swirl it. It's kind of sticky, so I'm not going to dig my paintbrush in it too much. I'm just going to go tap, tap. But I really want to see what this looks like. Ooh, look how dark a pink that is. That's really pretty. I think I'm going to add a little bit of water to my brush, and maybe, I don't even know what color that is. No, it's black. I don't want black. Not yet anyways. Ooh, look at the pink and the purple together. There we go. Ooh, I really like this. Mixing some pink together, some purple. This is fun. Yeah, here we go. So even within your different shapes, you can mix a couple of different colors. It doesn't have just to be one. And that way, if you love color as much as me, you can get as many colors as possible. So that's the start. We have one more step to go. Oh, Lucas has a great comment here and a question. What if I make a mistake with oil pastels? There's no way to fix it, right? Well, you know, it depends what you mean by fix it. I say just keep going. And what I always do, if I make a line that I don't really like, I make another line, because your eye is going to go to the line that you like, and it's not even going to worry about the line that you don't like. And then just keep painting. And then when you do your rainbow again, just don't make that line. So you can just keep on going and seeing what happens. Because oftentimes we're very critical of our art when we're just starting. We think that we made a mistake, but the truth is that mistake could actually be a really beautiful part of your artwork. Just keep going and see what happens. I think that's fun. Okay, so I have my rainbow and I finished it all, but I'm not done yet. We still have one more step to go, and that's adding all of our paper scraps. Okay, everyone, I'm going to share my screen again. Okay, so now this is one of my favorite parts to do, kids. And this is a part that there's just no right way to do it, and there's no wrong way to do it. Like, it's whatever your heart is telling you. So what I'm doing, I'm kind of setting my rainbow just in front of me, but I'm creating a little workspace just in front of my belly. And I have all these different pieces of papers. Now, you might not have as many pieces of paper that I do, but what I'm going to do is just decide all these little bits and pieces. What can I do to decorate my rainbow? Now, I already have lots of pieces. You guys see the primary episodes, and you know that I like to keep my little bits and pieces of paper in a little container, so I always have them. But I'm going to take a few that I really think are pretty, and I'm going to maybe create little places for them to live. So you could do, I could maybe put some pink papers along here. And these just happen to be already cut up into little rectangles, but I'm going to make them a little smaller. So I'm going to put some rectangles, and I'm not gluing them down yet. I just want to see what happens, just to see what everything looks like. And here's one more right there. And if you have a piece of paper like this, you could cut a little strip. It's almost like as wide as your finger, and cut a little strip with your scissors. And I want to show you something. One shape that I love to create are little triangles. So you hold your paper like this, and you take your scissors and you put them on an angle. So start at the very tippy corner, open up your scissors like a shark's mouth, and then just put it on an angle and go snip. And I made a triangle. Then I want you to take your scissors again and put them a little bit farther away, but point to that little angle right there and go snip. And then you turn it, put your scissors, open them up, put them on the corner and go snip. And you just keep rotating your paper and turning it. And you have these really pretty little triangles. Just like that. See? And then you could put these wherever you want. You can put them up here. It looks like he has like dinosaur spines. But we're not going to do anything yet. We're just going to get as many little pieces of paper, because in a few minutes we're actually going to cut out our rainbow. But I just want to see how much paper I'm actually going to need. So I'm going to need more of those triangles. So I'm going to just make a pile of them right here. And so you can start collecting little shapes. And if you want to cut some triangles, maybe you want to cut about 10 or 12. And I think that might be enough. I'm going to take these and put them in a little pile right here. So I have a pile of triangles, and I have a pile of pink rectangles, and I have lots of paper punched circles, but I'm not going to use those because I know that you may not have a paper punch. But I am going to show you how to cut out a paper or cut out a circle if you want to. So what I want you to do is take a paper and you can fold it in half, just a little bit, and then take any kind of color, and I want you to draw a circle. Sometimes circles are hard to draw. If you start with a dot and just say, I want to go around that dot and go nice and slow. Make another dot, say I want to go around that dot, like a little button. And then, because the paper, I like to draw on the white so I can see it, because the paper is doubled up. When I cut this, I'm going to go around, turn the paper, keep this hand steady, the cutting hand is steady, and you keep turning the paper around. And then I have 2 circles, and they're almost as good as my paper punch circles. Let's try that again. You can even take this off. So go around, keep turning the paper, keep turning, and I have 2 more circles, 2 more dots. So I like using dots. Now you might have something else that you're using. So look at this. This is actually kind of a cool piece of paper too. I would definitely save that. Don't throw that out, because if you're making a collage someday, you might want to use that. And that could be a really fun piece to add to your art. And oh, look at this blue paper. I was painting a bird, and I was making the sky, and I didn't like the project at the end, but I kept the paper, and look at all of the paint. Isn't that pretty? So sometimes don't throw away the art that you don't really like to keep. You can use them as paper scraps. So what can I do with this? Maybe I can make some skinny little lines. I'm gonna cut this in half. You can do skinny little, really thin bits of paper, and I just hold my scissors, I go snip and snip and snip, and I like both sides. I like the blue side, and I like the blue side with the pink paper or the purple paint. I might turn that into a little X. So there's that, and I think that might be enough patterns, but you can make as many as you want. Okay, kiddos. Now, I have a bunch of little paper decorations, and I might add more, but for now I want to take my art, and you can do this too, because it's dry enough for me to touch. So what I'm going to do is take my scissors, and I'm going to cut along the outside of my rainbow. I'm going to go around the pretty big rainbow, but I want to cut it before I start adding my paper scraps. Okay, and then you can leave this if you want to. You can cut that out, but I'm going to leave it. Okay. Now you don't have to cut out your paper rainbow if you don't want to. I like to cut it out because I want some things to extend off the edge. So here's another rainbow I did, and I could add some things off the edge if I want to. Look at this. I did some circles, but I cut them in half. And here's some little squares. Oh, Carmen asked, what's the best way to clear a glue bottle? I'll show you. And then Lucas says his hasn't dried. You know what, Lucas? Mine is still wet too. But here's the thing. You don't have to have it completely dry, but if you want to leave it, don't cut it out yet if it's too wet. And you can still add your little bits and pieces. Okay, Carmen, here's my little mini glue bottle. Isn't it cute? It's so little. Anyways, this thing moves, right? You want to, oops, already dripping glue. I think I'll just put that right there. You want to be, this is not a good example because the glue is just squirting out of it. When it is nice and tight to the bottom, when it's glued or when it's twisted so that the orange part is really tight, you can kind of take a little pair of scissors and just kind of snip that little dry piece of glue away. See that dry piece of glue? That's what's clogging up the glue. And then you can untwist it so that there's a space, and that means the glue is ready to pop out again. This one's raring to go. Okay, I think I'm gonna place I think I'm gonna put these here. So go ahead and start placing all of your paper scraps, and when you're happy with the arrangement, then you can start to, I think I was gonna put these up here. You can start to glue them all down, but I wanna just arrange them first and use your decision making as an artist. Say, you know, what do you want to put where? How far apart do you want your shapes? What's interesting to you? If it doesn't look interesting, or if this looks too spiky, or if it looks like a dinosaur and you don't want it to look like a dinosaur, then you don't have to make these choices. You can put these towards the center if you wanted to, and you don't even have to use a triangle. And I'm really liking these little guys. I'm gonna put these right here. I have so many of them. Those are pretty. I'm gonna make little dividers between my two flowers. And what will I do with these? I kind of think these would be pretty kind of staggered between these two colors, right on that white line that I created. But I have to spread them out because I only have a few. Okay. So now I think I'm ready with my composition, but I don't like these. I'm going to take these away. And I think I'm going to put some down here. So I just made a decision for my art based on what I liked and what I didn't like. And you get to do that. You don't have to do what I'm doing. You want to make sure that you are making choices that you love for your art. I'm going to definitely save those little triangles though. Okay, so now I have a glue, my glue bottle, and I'm just putting a little bit of glue on the back and then sticking it down however I want it to look. A little bit of glue. Another way to do it is to figure out where on your rainbow you want the shape to go and put a little puddle of glue on your rainbow and then place your paper on the glue blob. See, that's kind of easier, I think. Okay, I'm gonna do the same for my beautiful green dots. These are so rich and dark. These are the ones I cut out. Takes just a tiny little bit of glue, guys. Just a little bit. You guys are doing so well. I'm seeing you working so hard. I wish I was there right with you. I'm going to spread these out. So I'm going to put one over there and one here. And one here and one over here. So I'm trying to spread them out a little bit because I didn't have that many of them. Now, I can't wait to see your colors that you've chosen. I know that someone had wanted to do a black oil pastel outline, and I'm sure that's going to look amazing. These are the hardest ones to glue because they're so little. You can use glue sticks too. And boys and girls, if your pieces of paper are not sticking to your rainbow very well, just let them sit there for a few minutes, because in just a second, I'm going to show you how to make it really stick well. If you've been watching primary videos, you probably know what I'm going to do. Yeah. I'm going to turn over my paper, hoping that everything doesn't fall off. Although if it does, that would be kind of fun. Okay, guys. So I have my rainbow. I'm kind of happy with it. I want to show you what it could look like. Look at this one. I made this paper with pink paint that I had left over, and I just used a kitchen sponge. So maybe your parents have an old kitchen sponge that you could dip into paint and use it like a paintbrush. But if you wanted to make, I don't know, like little shapes, You could put them here. Oops. You can put them right along the edge so they kind of stick out a little bit. Those are kind of cool. You can make a shape that looks like a heart, or you can make a shape that looks like a fish or a sun. You can do all sorts of things. I'm just going to stick those out. Oh, one thing I just figured out, if you want your paper shapes to stick out over the edge, it's probably best to just glue, oops, that got all stuck, the very edge, just like that. Okay, I won't do the whole thing, but now look at this. You guys ready? Okay, cross your fingers for me, because I'm going to take my artwork and I'm going to turn it upside down and lay it on my placemat, and I'm going to take my hands and I'm just going to smooth out all of the pieces. You can even take your fist and just the heel of your hand, just go around nice and gently. And even if your paint's a little bit wet, that's okay. Even if the glue's not dry, we just want to keep pressing down. And then when you turn it back over again, you want to do it before it sticks. Then all of the pieces will stick a little bit better. There we go, and I'm all finished. So I was so happy with my patterned rainbow. Okay, everyone, I love you all. I appreciate the fact that you are doing art. Some of you are doing art with your sisters and your brothers and your moms and your dads, and that's just such a wonderful thing. Keep it up, kiddos. Keep creating, and I'm going to be with you every week. So did anyone do the castle yet? I know a few of you did. Did you do the castle? That's really fun. You can make all sorts of different types of castles with your templates. So keep sharing your pictures with us, and I'll see you again soon. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me.